The first time my roommate mentioned it, I laughed. Dude, he said over breakfast, rubbing his eyes, you've gotta stop doing that. Doing what? I asked. Sitting on my bed at night, he said, just staring at me. I snorted. I've been asleep every night this week. You're dreaming. He didn't laugh back. I know the difference, he said quietly. You don't say anything. You just sit there like you're waiting. That should have been my first warning. But when you live with someone long enough, you learn how to dismiss things. Stress, night terrors, sleep paralysis. I told him all of that. He nodded like he'd already tried believing it. The second time, he woke me up. It was 3:40 a.m. He was standing in my doorway, pale, shaking, eyes darting behind me like he expected someone else to be there. You were just in my room, he said. I checked my phone. I hadn't moved in hours. Sleep op said I'd been in deep sleep. I didn't leave my bed, I said. You did, he insisted. You sat on the edge, same spot, same posture, hands on your knees. You were breathing, but it didn't sound like you were asleep. I sat up. Did I talk? He swallowed. No, but you smiled when I pretended to wake up. That stopped me cold. We didn't talk much the rest of the night. By morning, he'd convinced himself it was stress. Work had been rough. He joked about it, forced it. I let him. I didn't want to be the person who feeds someone else's fear. The third time happened 2 nights later. He didn't come to me this time. He texted. Are you awake? I replied instantly. Yeah, what's up? 3 dots. Stopped. Started again. Then who's sitting on my bed right now? My chest tightened. I jumped out of bed and opened my door. The hallway was empty. His door was closed. Locked. I knocked hard. Open up, now. There was silence on the other side. Then softly he said, You just stood up. The door opened a crack. He was sitting upright in bed, eyes red-shot, phone clutched in his hand. The room smelled like cold sweat. You were right there, he whispered. You stood up from the bed and walked out. I heard your footsteps. I felt sick. I came straight from my room, I said, I swear. He stared at me for a long time. Then he said, We're recording tonight. We set up 2 cameras, one in the hallway facing both bedroom doors, one in his room angled at the bed. No blind spots, no excuses. We agreed on rules. Doors closed, lights off, no alcohol, no sleep meds. Phones charging on our nightstands. No getting up unless it was an emergency. I slept like a rock. No dreams, no waking, no gaps in memory. When I opened my eyes, it was morning, and my apartment was quiet in a way that felt wrong. No coffee brewing, no footsteps, no music bleeding through the walls. I walked into the living room. My roommate's shoes were gone. His jacket was gone. His backpack, the one he never left without, was missing. On the kitchen counter sat his phone and a folded note. Just 3 lines, written fast and uneven. I didn't sleep. I didn't hallucinate. Check the footage alone. My stomach dropped. I picked up his phone. No passcode. The camera app was still open. Paused. Timestamp frozen at 3:12 a.m. The exact time he usually said it happened. My finger hovered over the screen. Somewhere deep in my chest, something tightened, like an instinct I'd never needed before was suddenly screaming, Don't watch it with the lights off. Don't watch it more than once. And whatever you do, don't look at yourself too long. I pressed play. The hallway footage played first. The camera's night vision washed everything in dull green, doors on either side, carpet stretching toward the living room, nothing moving. Timestamp ticked forward in silence. 3:10 a.m., 3:11 a.m. At 3:12, my bedroom door opened. I leaned closer to the screen. The door didn't creak, didn't hesitate. It opened smoothly, like whoever was behind it knew exactly how much pressure to use. I stepped out, not groggy, not stretching, not rubbing my eyes, fully upright, alert. I stood in the hallway for a full 9 seconds without moving, just standing there, watching my roommate's door. Then I smiled. Not wide, not friendly. It was the same neutral smile I give strangers in elevators, the one I don't think about, the one that isn't for anyone. I felt my stomach turn. I hadn't smiled like that in years. I watched myself walk toward his room. No hesitation, no sound. I didn't knock. I opened his door. The hallway camera kept running. My bedroom door stayed open behind me. The timestamp crawled forward. 3:13, 3:14. I didn't come back out. I swallowed hard and switched to the camera inside his room. The angle showed the foot of the bed, part of the wall, his dresser. He was asleep when the footage started, curled on his side, breathing heavy. Then, from the left side of the frame, I entered. Slowly. I sat on the edge of his bed, exactly where he said I did. Hands on knees, back straight, head tilted just slightly downward, so my face stayed in shadow. I sat there for 4 minutes, not moving, not blinking. My roommate stirred, shifted, muttered something under his breath. I leaned forward. The movement was subtle, deliberate, like I didn't want to wake him too fast. His eyes opened. Even through night vision, I could see the fear hit him instantly. He didn't scream. He didn't speak. He just froze. I raised one finger to my lips, a shushing gesture. I felt cold all over. Then I did something I've never done in my life. I reached out and gently placed my hand on his ankle. He flinched violently, pulled away. I smiled again. And then I turned my head directly toward the camera, toward me. The footage glitched, just for a split second. When it stabilized, I was standing. My roommate was sitting upright now, clutching his blanket, eyes locked on me. I leaned down close to his face. The camera didn't pick up sound, but I could read my own lips. Don't wake up yet. Then I stood and walked toward the door. The hallway camera caught me leaving his room at 3:18 a.m. I walked back to my bedroom, stepped inside, closed the door. At 3:19, the hallway was empty again. No shadows, no movement, just doors, just silence. My chest felt tight. I rewound the footage, watched it again, then again. On the third watch, I noticed something I'd missed before. When I left my bedroom the first time, my reflection in the hallway mirror didn't move with me. It stayed behind, standing in the doorway, watching my body walk away, smiling. I slammed the phone down. My hands were shaking. I looked around my apartment. Everything was normal. Too normal. I checked my phone. My sleep tracker showed deep sleep from 12:47 a.m. to 6:22 a.m. No interruptions, no movement,
No waking. I went back to the footage one last time, paused it at 3:12 a.m., right before my door opened.
I leaned in, and that's when I saw it. My bedroom door opens before the timestamp changes, by about 2 seconds, meaning the camera registered the movement before the time existed to record it. I didn't sleep that night. At 3:11 a.m., I sat on my bed, fully awake, staring at my door. At 3:12, the handle turned, slowly, from the inside. And from the other side of the door, my voice whispered, "Don't worry, I already went." I didn't open the door. I couldn't. My hand hovered inches from the handle while my own voice breathed on the other side, calm and patient, like it had all the time in the world. "I already went," it repeated softly. "You don't need to check." The handle stopped, not because it gave up, because it was listening. I backed away slowly, every step deliberate, terrified that sudden movement might correct something. The whisper followed me. "You always do this," it said. "You hesitate, then you pretend it didn't happen." I ended up sitting on my bed, knees drawn up, staring at the door until the sun came up. When daylight finally filled the room, the fear didn't fade. It just thinned out, like fog that never quite burns off. The door never opened. But when I checked the hallway camera at noon, the footage from 3:12 a.m. was gone. Not corrupted, not deleted. Gone, like the file had never existed. Except for one thing. A single thumbnail remained in the camera roll. No timestamp, no duration, just a still image, my bedroom door slightly open, and someone standing inside, facing the camera. Too dark to make out details, but I knew that posture. I closed the app and shoved the phone into a drawer. I told myself I wouldn't look again. That lasted until night. I didn't sleep. I lay in bed, lights on, door open, phone face down on the nightstand. Every sound felt amplified. Pipes knocking, the fridge cycling, the faint hum of the building settling. At 3:08 a.m., my phone buzzed. I didn't touch it. Another buzz, then another. Finally, I flipped it over. No notifications, no missed calls, just the camera app open by itself. Hallway feed. My bedroom door was closed. My roommate's room was empty now, stripped bare, like no one had ever lived there. The timestamp rolled forward, 3:11 a.m. I sat up. The camera view didn't change, but something felt off, like the room was holding its breath. 3:12 a.m. My bedroom door didn't open. Instead, the camera zoomed in, not digitally, physically, like someone had picked up the camera and leaned closer to my door. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands. "What do you want?" I whispered. The phone vibrated once. A message appeared. No sender. "You keep waking up in the wrong place." The hallway feed flickered. For a single frame, my door was gone. In its place was a dark opening,
deeper than my room should be, stretching back into something that didn't look like an apartment at all. Then the image snapped back. Door closed. Normal. My phone buzzed again. He didn't leave because of me. He left because he saw where I come from. I swallowed hard. "Where?" I whispered. The reply took longer this time. "Behind your eyes." My reflection appeared on the black screen of my phone. I hadn't turned the camera around. It just showed up. My face stared back at me, eyes open, unblinking, but my mouth moved. "You're awake now," it said silently. The lights in my room dimmed. I felt pressure at the edge of the bed. Not weight, intent. Something sat down. The mattress dipped, slowly, carefully, exactly the way I had seen myself do in the footage. I didn't look. I couldn't. My phone buzzed one last time. "If you stay awake, you stay you, but you can't stay awake forever." The pressure beside me shifted, closer. I felt breath on my neck. Not warm, not cold.
Familiar. Behind me, my own voice whispered, "Just rest. I'll sit for you tonight." I didn't sleep. I don't mean I tried not to. I mean I physically could not. Every time my eyes closed for more than a second, the pressure on the mattress beside me increased. Not heavier, just more present, like something leaning in to see if I was gone yet. "I'm still awake," I whispered. Beside me, my voice replied softly, "I know." The lights stayed on all night. The door stayed open. Nothing moved. At 6:41 a.m., the pressure lifted. I didn't move until the sun was fully up. When I finally stood, my legs shook so badly I had to grab the dresser. The bed was smooth, undisturbed. No indentation where something had sat for hours. I checked the cameras. Every file from the previous night was gone. Not deleted, not corrupted, gone. Except for one new clip. Duration, 2 hours and 48 minutes. Timestamp, 3:12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Camera, bedroom. I stared at the screen. My thumb hovered. I almost didn't watch it. I should have stopped there. I pressed play. The footage showed my bedroom. Lights on, door open, me sitting upright in bed, staring forward, awake, still. At 3:14, something moved at the edge of the frame. It stepped out of the darkness beside me. Me. But not standing, not walking, unfolding, like it had been compressed into the space beside me and was finally stretching out. It sat on the edge of the mattress, facing me, facing itself. We sat there together for a long time. At 3:29, my body in bed slumped slightly, just a fraction. The other one leaned closer. At 3:47, it raised a hand, not touching, hovering inches from my face, like it was waiting for permission. At 4:02, my eyes finally closed. The moment they did, the thing smiled, wide, relieved. It stood, and my body, did not.
The thing leaned down and whispered something into my sleeping ear. Then it lay down in my place, pulled the blanket up. At 4:05, it turned its head toward the camera and mouthed words I didn't need audio to understand. Thank you. The screen cut to black. I vomited in the sink. I didn't go to work. I didn't call my roommate. I packed a bag and left the apartment by noon. I thought distance would help. It didn't, because wherever I went, people looked at me strangely. Not confused, not scared. Familiar, like they'd already met me earlier.
A barista asked if I'd changed my mind about oat milk. A stranger waved and said, "Rough night?" I checked my phone. Messages I didn't send. Calls I didn't remember making. Photos taken from angles I never use. All timestamped between 3:12 a.m. and 6 a.m. Last night. And the night before. And the one before that. It wasn't taking me all at once. It was rotating, letting me exist during the day, letting it exist at night, sharing, practicing. That night, in a motel room 3 towns away, I barricaded the door and stayed awake as long as I could. At 3:11 a.m., my phone buzzed. One message, no sender. You don't have to watch anymore. We've got the rhythm now. At 3:12, exhaustion finally won. Just for a second. Just a blink. And in that blink, I felt it. The smooth, familiar motion of someone sitting on the edge of the bed. Patient. Careful. Like they'd done this hundreds of times already. I don't know how long I'll still be the one typing during the day. But if you ever wake up and see someone you know sitting quietly at the edge of your bed, don't scream, don't move, and whatever you do, don't fall back asleep. Because if you do, you might wake up believing you were the one who left.